What's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify, iHeart, wherever you're listening to it. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. And like always, I got a special guest, my big brother. Some of y'all know him. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know him. EJ Jones. What's going on, E?
What's up, man? What's up, man? How y'all doing? What's up, Who That Nation?
Yeah, man.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Man, thank you very much, E, man, for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Got a lot to talk about tonight, this morning, or this evening. I try to cover everybody. We got to talk about training camp, day 2 with the pads on. Now, the New Orleans Saints, unlike on day 1, they were outside. This practice, they were actually inside, E, and they only had on shells, no pads or anything like that on the legs or anything like that. But there were some bright spots in day 2 of training camp, man. And one person that stood out was Genos Jenkins, the cornerback that we got in the middle of the season from the New York Football Giants. He left on bad terms. One team junk is another team treasure. You know what I'm saying? And Genos Jenkins did an outstanding job today. He had the play of the day when he broke up a pass from newly acquired wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. So, starting it off, Genos Jenkins, man, what do you think he can bring to the New Orleans Saints team going into his first full training camp with the Saints?
Well, I think we could bring his confidence. Right. The Saints can have confidence in knowing that their number 2 cornerback can cover the team's 1, 2, 3, or whatever quarterback they have. I mean, whatever wide receiver they have out there.
Right.
So,
right.
I think that's nothing but a benefit for him going out and having the benefit of a whole season with a team.
Right.
Especially a team that has high hopes, like the New Orleans Saints. But I do think he is. I always thought he was a good cornerback when he was with the Rams. I always thought he was good.
Yeah.
Even with the Giants. We get the Giants up, but I always thought he was good or whatever. And I do think, I do think the Saints are the Sanford and Son of an NFL when it comes to getting other teams trash and becoming treasure here in New Orleans. And I think he's a good example of that. So,
yeah, I mean, I feel like with Genos Jenkins, I feel like Genos Jenkins was kind of in limbo over the past few years in New York. You know, like. Man, we all done played 21, a hustle, as we call it in New Orleans. You know what I mean? When you know that there's a strong possibility that you're not going to win the hustle game, like when everybody start playing, when you got about 10, 12 players out there, you kind of, play lax. Like, man, I ain't trying to get myself hurt. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to, mess myself up for when we actually play a game. I ain't doing that. That's kind of what Genos Jenkins was doing. Genos Jenkins knew that the Giants were not that good. No, they weren't Super Bowl contenders. And I feel like he kind of phoned it in, and people kind of forgot how good he was. And you alluded to that when it comes to the St. Louis Rams. There's a reason why the New York Giants paid him as much money as they did, getting him from St. Louis. And I feel like now he feels he's with a championship team. He's with a team. All he has to do, is do his job and do it well. Arguably, a lot of people not paying attention to this in the Who That Nation. I would throw to Marshawn Lattimore's side quicker than I would throw to Genos Jenkins. This is a seasoned veteran that has proven that he can shut down the elite of the elite. So
I agree with that one 100%.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who you was interviewing, but you've been busy the last 2 weeks. But
who did I?
You was talking about how Thielen. Lattimore couldn't do anything with Adam Thielen from the Vikings, which was true. I mean, Saints have had bad luck with Thielen. They have had bad luck with I can't believe I'm forgetting the wide receiver just went to Buffalo from Minnesota. What's his name?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Lord, no. I mean, those two have been giving the Saints blues for like 3 years now.
Yeah,
and they can't do anything with. They can stick Julio Jones. They did a good job on Mike Evans and a lot of other receivers, but those two Saints can't block them. And I think Jenkins has done the best job out of any of the cornerbacks that we have. PJ Williams, he's been good in spots, but we be getting worked over when we play those two. Thank goodness that Diggs isn't there no more. So, goodness, Thielen. I mean, every time he plays the Saints, he has like 8, 9, 10 catches or something like that.
Oh, yeah, man. Look, I love Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn knows, man. I mean, Marshawn, he has like commented and, you know what I'm saying, to me on social media on several occasions. He knows I feel like he is the best cornerback the Saints ever had. I still feel that way. But when it comes to Adam Thielen be giving that boy the business. I always say this, E. Adam Thielen is one of the best wide receivers in the league. The only reason why we don't acknowledge that, probably because he's a white boy doing it. I'm just being honest.
True.
I mean, that's the reason why we really didn't look at people like Wes Welker. We don't look at people like Cooper Kupp. We don't look at, people like Jordy Nelson in that regard. Probably because they're white boys doing it. But Adam Thielen is a beast. I don't care what color he is. You know what I'm saying? He can be black,
he's fast,
white.
he catch, he's athletic.
Yeah.
He got good size. We like 6'1", 6'2". So he got good size. Minnesota, I think he went to Minnesota State. So he's like a native. He probably gonna play there for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, not too many cornerbacks can stick this guy like one-on-one. So Lattimore shouldn't feel too bad about that because I mean, you pick a cornerback who can stick this man one-on-one.
Right.
He'll give all the cornerbacks, Gilmore. I mean, all of them. He'll give them all problems. So.
I mean, everybody has their kryptonite. E. Like Devontae Parker is Stephon Gilmore's kryptonite. He has really big games against those guys. So it's no shame of getting worked by Adam Thielen. I mean, this guy almost broke Michael Irvin's record for more consecutive 100-yard games. But back to Genos Jenkins, man, I just feel like in a wild card game of the playoffs, man, he had Stephon Diggs on the sideline throwing his helmet around, frustrated. So he brings a different dynamic and a swagger to the New Orleans Saints. And I feel like opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, who is not a slouch in his own right. I mean, there's a reason why the defense has been getting the best of the offense. But another person that stood out in practice and has been standing out in practice, believe it or not, I could not believe this. PJ Williams. Bruh, I said this on the State of the Saints podcast a couple of days ago. I said you can look at this two ways. You can look at it as if PJ Williams turned the corner or the Saints offense is looking like hot garbage. Okay. But I think that the New Orleans Saints did a great job with something that I felt PJ Williams needed to do in order to resurrect his career. And they moved him from the corner to the safety position. And defensive coordinator Dennis Allen says that he feels that PJ Williams is a Swiss Army knife on defense.
Honestly, I can kind of see the best. I would say the best game that PJ Williams ever had was that game against Minnesota. You remember the one on Sunday night where he had the interception?
But a Swiss Army knife, bro. Like, okay, man, Cardell Stewart was a Swiss Army knife. Okay, yeah. Michael Vick was a Swiss Army knife. Lamar Jackson, Taysom Hill is a Swiss Army knife. PJ Williams gets a Swiss-like knife through butter when it comes to his cover skills.
I wouldn't call him a Swiss Army knife. I call him like a spork. You know that thing that look like a spoon, but they got the prickly things like the fork. So since he like free safety and cornerback, I give him that. I don't think I give him like a Swiss Army knife.
Bro, the only knife that we need to be discussing with PJ Williams is how the wide receiver slice through this guy like hot knife through butter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man should be considered no knife, butter knife, into knife, kitchen knife, no type of knife. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, just say that you decided that the safety was the best position for him to be in.
I think it is. I think that's a good spot for him. I think if he want to play the next 3 to 5 years, I think that's his spot. I think he should be like at a safety, like a boundary type safety.
Right.
Maybe somebody that could like come up kind of close to the line of scrimmage, maybe blitz or do stuff. I think that works for him. But in coverage against wide receivers, physical or speedy one, I don't think that's him. If he got to cover for 5 to 10 seconds, I don't think that's him. Yeah. I think him coming down. I do think he is a good tackler. Yeah. I think him coming down like as a free safety or strong safety or something like that. I think that'll work for him. But nickel corner, nah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Look, now I'm about to talk positive about PJ. He's one of the best tacklers in the secondary. He's a better tackler than Lattimore. He's a better tackler in summer. Well, he's definitely a better tackler than Marcus Williams. No doubt about that. Okay.
We need some tackling lessons for him.
The problem is he doesn't have good recovery speed. And this is what I don't understand. The Saints did the same thing with Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins coming out of Ohio State was a corner. He was supposed to be a corner. He didn't have the speed to keep up with those elite wide receivers in the NFL. So the Saints realized, man, we got to move you to safety. Now he's a strong safety, and we seen what he did for the 6 seasons he was in Philadelphia. So I feel like the Saints acknowledging PJ Williams and understanding that he is not, I repeat, is not an outside corner and should be. No, he shouldn't be affiliated. No way whatsoever.
Being outside corner, that means either you going against Julio Jones or Mike Evans or Moore from Carolina. Yeah, 8-9. Goodwin from Tampa Bay.
He's not on that level, E. And I feel like, excuse me, I feel like the New Orleans Saints did the right thing, moving him to safety. And honestly, his career could possibly get resurrected in the form of a blessing in disguise. Because the reason why he played safety last year was because Von Bell and Marcus Williams went down in the middle of the season. And the Saints were kind of, they were kind of short at the defensive and the secondary position. So he had no choice to move to safety, but he did a really good job. And Dennis Allen, Mike Nolan, and Aaron Glenn and the crew was like, damn, maybe we got something here. So I feel like, it happened in a way that we didn't necessarily want it to happen, but it probably was the best scenario and the best situation to happen to PJ Williams. But right now, I want to acknowledge the chat, E. We got a lot of people up in here right now. Shouts out to Jerry Poor. Got Chemo in the building. Mike is in here. David, Earl, Dave, Dill Pickle, Jerry Poor once again commenting. Got my guy Tim all the way in Canada, E.
Canada. What's up?
Exactly. Old Canada, our home in native land. So thank y'all very much for being a part of the State of Saints podcast. We're about to read some of the chat here. A lot of people chiming in, E. I want to start with Mike. Mike says, who that TJ? Tapping in with your big dog. Love the interview, by the way. My boy, keep it up. Man, thank you very much, Mike. If you have not checked out the interview I conducted with Jeff Duncan. Jeff Duncan, you probably know him from Fox 8 down in New Orleans, WVUE. He also writes for The Athletic. Man, we talked really solid guy, man. And he actually won an award. We talked about this off the air. He actually won an award for covering a story about my high school alma mater, man, Carver High School, man. They're trying to build a new stadium out there, man. So, and I mean, I looked up to Jeff Duncan, man, for a long time. You remember, man, we used to get rides from our grandmother, the middle school, elementary school. And she used to stop on the corner. That guy used to be giving out newspapers and stuff like that, which I realize now, E, that was pretty much illegal because all he did was take 50 cents, put it in the machine, take all the papers out, take all the papers out, and keep the money for himself.
That boy was stealing.
Exactly. Exactly. How are you on the corner? Now, some of you probably know. You know what I'm saying? If you're from New Orleans, 9th Ward, 8th Ward area, it was on the corner of St. Claude and Franklin, right by that McDonald's that we used to catch the Franklin bus. This guy used to take all of the newspapers out of the machine and hold them up like a newspaper boy, 1920 style, and sell them for 50 cents like it's his money. But nevertheless, I mean, you know, grandmama, you know, she used to, you know, read the front page. She used to give us the sports page. We were excited to read it. And a lot of those articles, he came from Jeff Duncan, man. So he really influenced. He was one of those people that influenced me, man, to really fall in love with sports, along with Jim Henderson, Buddy D, man. I mean, the list goes on and on, man. But check out that interview with Jeff Duncan. Shouts out to Jeff Duncan, man. Great human being, man, and left me with some words of encouragement as well. So I enjoyed doing that interview, man. It's not every day you get to interview somebody that influenced you as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to him. Earl J. Brock says, "What up, bro?" Man, shouts out to Earl J. Brock. Earl J. Brock actually has his own podcast. Once again, Earl, make sure that you plug your podcast down below, man. Good, solid dude. Great podcast. If you're not listening to Earl J's podcast, man, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Good, solid content right there.
We need that helmet too. We need to do something on that helmet right there. We need to get a petition so we can get that helmet for next year. I like that. That's tight. That's tight.
So you loving a black helmet?
Yeah, I like that. That black helmet with that silver face. I like that.
Dope. Chemo also said, "Big brother EJ, man, giving you a shout out." Chemo,
What's up, Chemo Slice? How you doing?
Yeah, man, familiar to the State of Saints podcast, a regular E, giving you some love. Brett says, "How's it going, TJ?" Brett North, man, a regular on the State of the Saints as well, man. Shouts out to you, Brett. Doing fine, man. Great. Who that from Jersey? Dave is back, man. Dave was here earlier today. He was on the State of the Saints podcast. He made some comments, so he's all the way in New Jersey, man. So the Who Dat Nation repping hard up there, man, in New Jersey. Shouts out to Dave. Deal Pickle, also a regular, says, "Who that?" Jerry Poole, of course, man, the OG of the State of the Saints podcast, says the Jones brothers. So, and we also got Tim donating $5 once again, representing Canada. Said Genos Jenkins came in and got an interception, and Thielen couldn't do nothing against him. Either the first catch Thielen had, Jenkins forced a fumble. Yep, that was. He's talking about the wild card game. He went on Alan Thielen fumbled the football because of Genos Jenkins. Genos Jenkins is a disruptor, man. No doubt about that. And I think a lot of people have been sleeping on this guy because once again the Giants have sucked. I mean, Eli Manning throwing more picks than Razor Ramon out here.
Hey yo.
Daniel Jones is new, coming from Duke, man. So he's he's learning the system. He's learning the NFL. So a lot of people have forgotten how good Genos Jenkins is. I'm just happy that he fell into the laps of the New Orleans Saints, and he was willing to actually restructure his contract in order for him to stay on with the Saints for the next 2 to 3 years. So it's a plus, and he understands, man. Like, I think when players get to a certain level or they get to a certain age, they realize that their NFL life is probably coming to an end, and they're more willing to negotiate contracts because they want to be with teams that can win Super Bowls. And yeah, exactly. You want to win rings because there's a reason why we second guess players as great as they were, like Dan Marino, over other people, you know what I'm saying, that have won Super Bowls in the past. So I think players will start to realize that, man, it's time to win a Super Bowl, or I got to really win a Super Bowl to really submit myself in the sands of time according to the NFL. So I think this is one of those cases.
It is. I do think it is one of those cases. I mean, you look at, if you're in the league more than 10 years, so your family's great. Right. And they don't really have to worry about money. You done made all the money probably that you're going to make as far as like a big contract. I mean, winning the Super Bowl is like the last thing that you really have left that you could say that you accomplished or whatever. Right. He probably has friends in the NFL that probably didn't win a Super Bowl or something like that. Yep. So, I mean, why waste his body and I guess his time on a losing team and overcoming to a team that has a chance to have a Super Bowl or at least a playoff berth or something like that. So he want to be a small piece in team to win a Super Bowl. And I commend them for it. I'm not mad at them.
I do too.
I mean, who wouldn't want to play for a winning team or whatever?
Yeah, no
We
doubt.
just have to get over this hump.
Yeah, I think with this, it's very rare that you see a player who wins a Super Bowl early in their career, and they're able to go to the highest bidder. Like I look at people like Genos Jenkins, right? I mean, not Genos Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Jenkins won a Super Bowl his rookie season with the Saints. You know, like, so. Yeah. I mean, everything else is like, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm in the NFL, I mean, I won a Super Bowl. So he went to Philly and he won another one. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So even if he didn't win a Super Bowl with Philly, he was straight. So anything else that he did was only adding to it. And because at the end of your career, you're like, and he won a Super Bowl. They're not going to say he won a Super Bowl in his rookie season. They're going to say, and he won a Super Bowl. People like Malcolm Brown, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm Brown can do that. Malcolm Brown won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots before he came to the Saints. Malcolm Butler is another guy, you know what I'm saying? Won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots. Now he's out there. He can sell himself to the highest bidder in Tennessee. And losing may not be that bad for him. You know what I'm saying? Because I got 2 Super Bowls. So with Genos Jenkins, he doesn't have that luxury. He's been good for a long time with St. Louis, with the New York Giants. And now it's like, man, it's time to win a Super Bowl. It's time for me to cement my legacy. You know, like I want to be mentioned among the greats. As good as Darrelle Revis was, man, he had to go to New England in order for him to win a Super Bowl, for him to cement himself and possibly be a Hall of Famer as a shutdown corner. Richard Sherman is another guy, right? I mean, think about this. Will we be talking about these guys in years to come if these guys didn't win Super Bowls? Probably not. We will probably remember how good they were, but we probably won't give them the full respect they deserve because they don't have a ring. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Shouts out to Tim. He's also giving $2, man. Thank you very much for the $2 donation. He said, I think he meant Swiss cheese. I guess he referred to PJ Williams with the Swiss Army knife comment. I definitely agree with you on that one. Definitely Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Sometimes Limburger cheese.
Giant says, who that TJ? The interview with love the interview with Jeff Duncan today, man. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Kelly says, what's up with the new tight end we just signed?
Trust me.
No, not Adam Trotman. We're talking about Ethan Wolf. Yeah, Ethan Wolf.
Yeah.
You watch a lot of SEC football, man. I mean, you collect the magazines. It's no surprise to anybody that's been watching the State of the Saints podcast, man. You have influenced me to actually go in this direction in my career as being a sports media journalist and all that kind of stuff, man. So what do you know about Ethan Wolf? I watched him play at Tennessee, but what did you see in him that you feel like he can bring to the Saints?
I mean, as far as like his film and everything at Tennessee, everybody knows Tennessee hasn't had like the best of teams the last 3 to 5 years. So you're gonna have to really look at this dude's scouting report. I could pretty much say he's deceptive. He got like deceptive speed. He's a nice size tight end.
Right.
He will block.
Yeah.
But I think what he does best is the catch. I think he is like a catching like tight end. He will block more than some of the tight ends that we have in the league now, but he's a good catcher. May not be the fastest person. Like I said, his speed is kind of deceptive, but he'll catch the ball. At what I've seen, I mean, those mitts of his, they don't drop too many balls. That's what I've seen. But like I said, Tennessee doesn't really have – they didn't really throw the ball too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the team really hasn't been too good, so they're kind of limited of what you can see from him. But like I said, at Tennessee, his blocking was on point. But as far as his catching, I think his biggest attribute would be his catching ability, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he had almost 1,000 yards receiving his final season at Tennessee, and he was a red zone threat. And then the guy names escapes me, but he ended up playing for Jacksonville right now. I can't think of his name. He was the quarterback at the time when Ethan Wolf was there. I'm pretty sure somebody probably know what I'm talking about. Put his name down in the chat. But like you said, Tennessee didn't really have good quarterback play. That's the reason why people like Marquez Callaway struggled. People like Alvin Kamara, you know what I'm saying? Nobody really knew that much about him. And people like Ethan Wolf really didn't get the recognition because honestly, man, like I feel like if he had a decent quarterback, we probably would be talking about him like we talk about Hunter Henry out there in Arkansas. The thing about Hunter Henry, I mean, he had Ryan Mallett for a few years, you know what I'm saying? Before, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Hunter Henry was one of those guys that Ethan Wolf could have been. But of course, the quarterback play wasn't that good. But I feel like he brings a body to camp. I mean, we have to understand, man, Josh Hill is out right now. Josh Hill has been dealing with injuries. I think he had off-season surgery or something like that. So the Saints understood what they were actually getting. But this is a great opportunity for Ethan Wolf. This is a great opportunity for him. Whether it is with the Saints or some other team, this is an opportunity for you to put some stuff on film in order for you to go out here and possibly land with another team. Now, I do feel like it is a uphill battle for him. It's uphill because, I mean, you got to think about Jared Cook. You got to think about Adam Trotman, Josh Hill when he comes back. Then we're hearing about Tommy Stevens, who converted from quarterback to tight end. Okay, so it's going to be tough for him. But there is a chance that he can put something on film that can possibly lead him to special teams, maybe an opportunity with another organization. So, I mean, it's up to him to take advantage of this opportunity. Miguel says, September 13th, welcome to the Dome. Hope you make it home. Who that? Guess he's talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that. So, hopefully we get that W, man. Keen Arthur says, EJ, do you see AK getting 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing?
I hope so. I really do. I mean, he had the potential and the talent to do something like that. Chris McCaffrey's knowing in Carolina.
Right.
I see him. I don't see him doing all of that because we don't rely on Kamara more than anybody else.
Right.
But this 100 yards receiving I think he can do this. And I predict him doing it.
Right.
I mean, I think I threw up some stats for y'all. I think I had like almost 1,000 yards receiving, but I can see him doing this.
Right.
I really do. I really can. If they get him over like 200 calories. I must be hungry. If they get him like over 200 carries, I mean, I think he could do that on the ground and receiving. You're going to have like 80 catches.
Right.
So I predict him doing this. I mean, a good chance. I'm like 75% sure that he can do this.
Right.
I agree.
Well, I agree with what you just said at the beginning of about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is the bread and butter of Carolina. They were a lot. Exactly.
Juice, the macaroni.
I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that Teddy Bridgewater is going to rely heavily on Christian McCaffrey because he did the same thing with Alvin Kamara when Drew Brees went out. So the way that the Saints are structured, I don't see him being a 1,000 type player. But when I had an interview with Mike Triplett, he talked a little bit about that. Or it could have been Nick Underhill. Nick Underhill said that Alvin Kamara was on pace to gain about 1,900 yards from scrimmage before he actually got hurt at the Seattle game. So it's attainable. But I don't know if the Saints are going to use him to that particular point. So I don't know. It might be close. He might get close to it. Might be 1,700. I can even see 1,600, but I can't see 2,000, man. The Truth Hurt says, who that from North Las Vegas? Can't wait for week 2 when the Saints come here. Shouts out to the Truth Hurts all the way in Las Vegas, Nevada, man. Casual Dex, man, my guy, says, anybody hear anything about Adam Trotman, their training camp? Casual, yes, I did. They've been ranting and raving about him. They said that he can, and this is coming from Nick Underhill. I read his article today, and I encourage you all to check it out on New Orleans .football, his website. He talked a little bit about Adam Trotman. He said Adam Trotman is a really good pass catcher, little raw when it comes to the blocking. But, I mean, that comes with territory. I mean, he came from Dayton. It's a completely different animal that we're dealing with, coming from Dayton to the National Football League, coming from a small school to playing major NFL football here. So he's going to have some growing pains. But Nick followed up by saying if he gets his blocking, to a good, comfortable spot, he can be a threat. So, what do you think about Adam Trotman, man? And you think he's going to be one of those guys that could possibly the next big tight end in a National Football League?
I do think he's gonna need some, brushing up and go back to school, if you will.
Right.
Let's be real. Tight ends in the NFL nowadays, like how much blocking they really do. I mean, you look at George Kittle. How much blocking you think he doing? He getting downfield, making catches, making cornerbacks look stupid. That's what he doing. Right. Either you're a pass catching tight end or you're a blocking tight end. Yeah. They really don't have too many input. This ain't 1990 or 1980 where you got a Jay Novacek, somebody who might give you 20 catches a year, but block for Emmitt Smith about 20, 30 times a game. I mean, the NFL is changed. I mean, they want tight ends like O.J. Howard, somehow Evan Ingram, somebody who can run downfield and make catches. Right. They're not doing too much blocking. Yeah. You got running backs who does the blocking. Like I said, either a pass catching tight end or blocking tight end. Yeah. We just have to find out exactly what Adam Trotman is. Yeah. From everything that I hear, he's a pass catching tight end. Yeah. So if I know Sean Payton, he can put him in positions to catch passes pretty much, and don't put him in as many positions to block.
Right. So he not to dismiss what you're saying. The part about what you said about George Kittle is not afraid to block. Okay, oh, yeah. I mean, he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. You don't really see. I guess what I would say is that you don't see the guys that have the combinations. That's the reason why we look at people like Rob Gronkowski. He's a guy that can actually block and catch the football. Mm. George Kittle is a guy that can block and catch the football. Somebody like Travis Kelce is more of a pass catcher tight end. Mm. Somebody like Jimmy Graham, they're more like pass catching tight ends. Mm. Josh Hill is the Saints' Jay Novacek. If we're talking about, true. If you're comparing Jay Novacek as far as tight ends, Josh Hill is the Jay Novacek of the New Orleans Saints. True. But that is something that is very, very important. Notice that teams that have those type of tight ends that can pass catch, they always have a tight end that is good at blocking. Okay. Mm-hmm. They always have that guy that is not afraid to get his hands dirty and that can block. And you usually see him doing goal line situations a la Josh Hill, right? Josh Hill does most of his damage in the red zone, right? Mm-hmm. So on the goal line. So you need those guys. Those guys are not passe. It's just the fact that we don't pay attention to those guys because they're not as sexy as a Travis Kelce, or they're not as sexy as a Jimmy Graham, or an Antonio Gates, if I can go back a little bit further, or Tony Gonzalez. Those guys could block. Well, not Jimmy Graham, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? You pay more attention to the guys that actually catch the football at the tight end position. But there are guys that are still getting their hands dirty. And there are guys that are tight ends that can pass catch and still get their hands dirty. Yeah. That we definitely got to acknowledge. But Josh Hill is definitely the Jay Novacek of the Saints. Miguel says we are going to make Brady cry. Well, I hope so, man.
We make him cry twice.
I mean, I agree, man. Tom Brady. I hope we make him cry, but Tom Brady has been in the league for 21 years, so there's not much defense he has not seen. It's going to be a tough game, folks. Keen Arthur says, what's a formation you guys would want us to implement into the offense? What formation do you feel like the Saints need to utilize more?
Honestly, I would like to see the Saints utilize the offense with Kamara and Murray in the game at the same time.
Okay.
Maybe it could be like let me see if we got some offensive linemen, maybe two wides, right. Murray and Kamara maybe in the backfield. You have Murray maybe lined up as a fullback, right? Kamara lined up as a running back or something like that.
So you want to see more? you want to see more twin formations here.
Yeah, you can split them out. You can split them out wide and split them out in like the I formation or something like that.
Right.
Sneak Hill out maybe as a wide receiver or whatever. Have Michael Thomas, Sanders, and Hill in the game as wide receivers or something like that, and just put those two in the game. Run a formation like that. You can run out of that. I mean, you can pass out of that formation. I mean, flea flicker type stuff. You can do a lot with that kind of formation. Line them boys, line somebody up in a pistol. A direct snap to Kamara, something like that, because we never see direct snaps to Alvin Kamara. Well,
Right.
I think I probably would want to see that, but I think that would be an interesting formation for the Saints.
Right. Well, if I could pick like a formation I would like to see, I'd like to see Emmanuel Sanders out of the backfield. I would like to see him possibly throw a pass down the field. We've seen that actually be successful when we played the 49ers when he was in the 49ers uniform last year. We know he has some arm strength there. I think that you're going to see that, though, E. You know, I think you're going to see some exotic plays. And I would also like to see the Saints actually, you know what I'm saying, use Taysom Hill, you know what I'm saying, to run the ball out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this. We've seen this with Smith out there in Tennessee. It was a play that actually scored them a touchdown against the Saints. When they took Jonnu Smith and they handed him off the ball and he scored a touchdown on the Saints. So I want to see more of those type of plays, man. You got the players to actually make those plays a reality. So why not utilize that? And also would like to see more delayed handoffs. You know, like I feel like when it comes to Latavius Murray, a big 6'1", 6'2", 225-pound guy. I mean, this guy lean forward, he can get you 3 yards. You know, so I feel like we need to work. We need to see more delayed handoffs too out of the shotgun there. So that's some plays that I would actually implement into the offense. Vaughn says, do you think Beanie Fowler will be a legit threat for us? Good question, Vaughn. I'll start with this one. I feel like Beanie Fowler is going to do most of his damage on special teams. And the reason why I say this, E, is because, well, Sean Payton mentioned it in his press conference today. He said he felt like, you know, he would do more in the kicking game due to his size at wide receiver. So, I mean, that's what Sean Payton is looking at him as, you know. I will say, you know, I mean, the fact that Drew Brees actually vouched for him because he actually practiced alongside Drew Brees and Emmanuel Sanders out in Colorado, which is what brought him to New Orleans. But at the same time, let's be serious about this, folks. Beanie Fowler is not one of those guys that's going to be a life-changing wide receiver, okay? If he was, then he'll probably be on somebody else's team. All right, this is a special teamer at best. Possibly if somebody get hurt, maybe can run a slot, become a disruption, move somebody out of the way for Michael Thomas to catch the ball. Okay, so that's the way I feel about Beanie Fowler. So, E, what do you think about Beanie Fowler? Do you think he's going to be a legit threat in a black and gold uniform?
Well, like you said, I agree with you. If Sean Payton said, then it's coming from the horse's mouth. At best, fourth, fifth, or sixth receiver. He's somebody that can, you know, contribute. Hell, if you can give us a contribution on special teams, I'll take it. Because special teams is really important. A lot of people don't see that as being important, but that's just as important, especially if you want to switch the momentum back to your side. So whether you're blocking or returning on special teams, and I'll take it. But I mean, unless he wows everybody in training camp, like you said, I mean, we pretty much set at wide receiver anyway. But here's the thing, though. You know, we in this COVID state and everything. You know, the stadium is going to be clearing all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. We don't have a preseason.
Right.
So they're going to have a lot of injuries this year in the NFL. You might as well just admit it. Because we don't have a preseason. We don't really have a training camp. I mean, what we're going through now is a training camp, but we didn't really have a, you know, the OTA thing or whatever. So we didn't have that. So we will have injuries and you will need extra players. So fact of the matter is we need all the players that we can get for this season because the season starts September the 13th, and that's like 3, maybe 4 weeks away. Right. So we need like all the players that we can get just in case we have those injuries. I mean, like you can never expect injuries, but just in case we have injuries, we just need bodies.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of those people that he's good to have. And if Sean Payton and Drew Brees see somewhere where he can play a position where he can play, then I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, this is an unconventional season to say the least, man. I mean, come on, man. 2020 has been an absolute train wreck. I mean, it's been one tragedy after another. But at the same time, this is going to be the year where teams are going to do things unconventional. Now, normally the New Orleans Saints normally carry about 6 wide receivers. I feel like this year, due to COVID-19, you don't know if guys are going to go down due to coronavirus, might have to sit out a game or two.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Saints are going to carry 8 wide receivers. Okay, I really feel that way. I feel like they're going to carry 8 wide receivers this season. I don't know if the NFL is going to allow teams to actually carry more players, which I feel like they should.
They should
like allow them due to these circumstances.
And those practice squads should be bigger. Yeah. I think you have 8 to 10 on your practice. I could be wrong, I'm just guessing. I think you have like 8 to 10 on your practice. I think they should bump that up to at least this year, maybe 14 or 16 people on a practice squad, because you know when somebody get hurt, they're going to call that person up from that practice squad to that active roster. I think they should bump that up.
Absolutely. No argument here, bro. You're absolutely right. Keen Arthur also says, EJ, there's any cornerbacks at camp that you're watching. What are the measurables of Keith Washington? Not the singer, Not
That's what I was thinking about. You about to have me singing up here.
He's talking about the 6'1", 205-pound cornerback out of West Virginia, man. The guy who has a great length, which I feel like he will do his damage in the nickel because of his length. I don't know how familiar you are with Keith Washington, man, but a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation, especially here on the State of the Saints podcast, are very high on this guy. So, do you know anything about Keith Washington?
I don't know too much about him. I'm gonna try to get down there to training camp, see what I can see tomorrow. Do some research on him. I have seen West Virginia, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look up and go through some of his film or whatever and look him up, because if those measurables right, 6'1", 205, I mean that's pretty big for a cornerback. I mean that make him kind of versatile. I mean he could be a cornerback, he can be like one of them tweener guys, play close to the line of scrimmage or something like that. The Saints seem like they just stockpiling players. It seems like, and I guess every team in the league is doing that. Like I said, because of this COVID thing. Right. I mean, you don't want to leave no stone unturned or whatever. Right. So if this Keith Washington, if I can say, if you can contribute, I mean, you could tell if the Saints see a future for a player, because they're gonna put him on special teams. If there's no room, say like at corner or free safety, they're gonna put him on special teams. If that don't work, if he's not ready, they're gonna put him on the practice squad. If that don't work, they may release him, but they're gonna have his number in that black book it is. Right. So I mean, I'm about to look at some tape of Keith Washington or whatever, not the singer, the football player, and look and see what he's working with.
Yeah, man. Keith Washington, I mean, he has some great measurables, man. But I agree with what you said about the Saints actually hiding guys out. I don't feel like it's a coincidence that every player that the Saints release end up being on the team. Krishawn Hogan got signed by the Texans today. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that tells you everything that you need to know about the New Orleans Saints and how people feel about the players that they select. Miguel says, we got it going on. One, the dome making people cry, sending them home. He definitely wants some tears in Tom Brady's eyes. Vine Tay says, but camp just started. He'll be good. He was referring to Adam Trotman. I think this comes from the comment that said Adam Trotman, not much really. Well, I mean, it's not much that you're gonna see, and we have to understand, Vine. Let's give guys a break, and I'm glad that you said that he'll be good. No OTAs, no minicamp, no rookie training camp at all for these players. So I mean, this is very unconventional. Adam Trotman, I mean, he's going through growing pains. He's basically learning stuff that he should have been learning in OTAs and minicamp. So we got to give these guys a break and give these guys an opportunity to get coached up and develop and be where we need them to be. I mean, it's going to take some time. Guys, and I'm asking everybody in the Who Dat Nation to be patient with some of these rookies. Like you might see Zach Bond making mistakes. You might see Cesar Ruiz making mistakes. You might see Adam Trotman making mistakes. But these guys need reps. No preseason. Okay. So you're probably going to be seeing guys make mistakes week 1 against Tom Brady, week 2 against the Las Vegas Raiders, week 3 against, like they're going to be making mistakes. So we have to be patient with these guys and understand that some of the activities that they're supposed to take a part in off season did not happen. So let's take that into consideration. Tim, thank you very much for the $10. He says, honestly, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I want that Super Bowl this year for Cam Jordan. Way more than Drew. He's such a saint, and he's been with us for a decade. Thank you very much for the $10, Tim. Look, I think everybody in the Who Dat Nation is a fan of Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan is black and gold through and through. He loves being a part of the organization. He's a funny guy. He's very entertaining. He definitely has the career in broadcasting once he hangs it up. And I think he wants that sack record that's owned by Ricky Jackson, man. What do you think about Cam Jordan, man? What does Cam Jordan mean to you as a Saints fan?
Well, for one, I think he has the best Jerry Carroll I've ever seen anybody have in my life. I mean, that boy really letting that soul blow up.
So silky smooth.
That boy there. 1 minute he come with a Jerry Carroll, next minute he had a handlebar mustache or whatever. I mean, this dude is a clown. But at the same time, everybody on the team, from where I hear, they like him. I mean, the dude work hard. I mean, he's a second generation football player or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody in the league like him. I never really heard a harsh word about Cam Jordan.
Oh, no.
Offensive lineman might not have nothing good to say about him because he don't have an off switch.
Right.
I mean, he never comes out of a game. I mean, he never misses a game. I mean, really don't have nothing bad to say about a Cam Jordan. And I would want to, want the Saints to win a Super. I would want that man to get a Super Bowl or whatever, because I think when he gets a Super Bowl, then he's taking his claim to the Hall of Fame. I'm thinking, because he coming off with his 5th Pro Bowl appearance or whatever. He been first team the last 2 years or this year or something like that. But I think he's gonna break every Saints sack record that they have or whatever. Right. I do think that he's gonna wind up a Hall of Fame when he retires. Yeah, and I do think he's a clown. I mean, we laugh thinking about him.
He's definitely a funny guy, man. And, I think he's building a resume for the Hall of Fame, but a Super Bowl will make his resume look a little bit more attractive. So hopefully he can get it done, man. Hopefully he can get it done. Shouts out to Peyton. Peyton says, looking for big things out of Devonta Harris. Devonta Harris, we know what he can do on special teams. Explosive, can switch the field in a minute. Me personally, I feel like he was the bright spot in that San Francisco game. Clearly was the bright spot in the Seattle Seahawks game when he returned the punt for a touchdown, something the Saints didn't do in some years. But do you think he's going to take that extra step this season as a wide receiver?
The one thing about the NFL nowadays, the last 5 years, you got to get your speed on the field. Right. Any speedy guy that you have, you got to try to get them all on the field at the same time. Right. Because, I mean, you want to look for mismatches. Emmanuel Sanders, he has speed. Devonta Harris, he has speed. Hill, he has speed, even though he's not a wide receiver. I mean, now that's a real Swiss Army knife right there. You get him in the game with those three, I mean, that's a lot of speed. Right. So I do think he will see more catches going into this year, whatever, with Drew Brees actually playing through the whole season. Yeah. You just got to be careful going through all this COVID stuff, and we didn't have an OTA, not to maybe wear him out or whatever, because you wear a player out, that's the higher likelihood of him getting injured. So we don't want to overuse him, because he does do kickoffs, he does do punts, and if he did more offense, that might run a risk of wearing him out. But I would like to see him more on offense, though.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's going to be one of those guys that take that extra step. If you notice, like late in the season, you start to see a little bit more of Devonta Harris because they added more to his plate. And Sean Payton alluded to this, in a press conference. He said, we started to add more to his plate, and he played tremendously well. So if Sean Payton is saying that about you, saying that, okay, we're adding more to your plate, we're adding more plays, and you rise to the occasion, you might be seeing him a lot more than we've seen him earlier last season. Okay, not just in special teams, but actually playing on the field. We seen him like in wide receiver screens. We seen him catch a ball down the field from Taysom Hill in a wild card game. So I think like that's just the beginning of what Devonta Harris can possibly do in the Saints uniform. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more from him in the future. Dashawn says, I wonder how much of a change adding Malcolm Jenkins to the backfield will help the defense. Well, Dashawn, I feel like this. When you have a guy that is a seasoned veteran, when you have a guy that's a Super Bowl champion, when you got a guy that's a leader, that's been a captain on other teams. He's been a captain for the Saints. He's a guy that's a leader on and off the field. And there's not many offenses that he has not seen. It's already a plus, okay? Because you have a lot of young players that are part of the New Orleans Saints organization may not see the field the way Malcolm Jenkins sees it. And he can tell those guys, well, this is where you need to be. Focus on this. And I think Amy just actually wrote an article. She writes for the Advocate. She says that there's not much there's Drew Brees can possibly do. There was a lot of checkdowns today, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of passes that were not thrown past 15 yards because you have Malcolm Jenkins out there and you have Marcus Williams covering the middle of the field. Okay, so I'm pretty sure some communication is going on and definitely some leadership in the secondary is going on. He definitely sealed that up for the secondary, something I feel like the secondary needed, a guy who has been a champion. It is hard for a person who has never had a championship to avoid the words who actually has two of them. Malcolm Jenkins.
I mean, just like you have a quarterback, you want a quarterback that's a leader, you want a quarterback that's smart, somebody that gonna make checkdowns and make audibles. You want a cornerback or you want a free safety, that's a quarterback, somebody that's real smart. I mean, this dude is in the Players Association. I mean, he's real smart. He's articulate when you talk to him, but he also knows offenses or whatever. He can make those checks. But this young secondary that we got on the Saints team, he put them in the right positions to be successful.
Right.
And like you said, there's no substitute for somebody who done won 2 Super Bowls or whatever.
True. So
he go up in the room. I mean, when he talk, you better believe this secondary, you know they're gonna listen.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, you got even Marshawn Lattimore. He's the Pro Bowler, but you know he's gonna listen to Malcolm Jenkins.
Right.
Because this guy's been in the league, he's been around. He got those 2 Super Bowl rings just shining.
Right.
So they're gonna listen to him or whatever.
Right. And like I said, man, it's not many offenses that he didn't see. So I mean, why wouldn't you want to listen to a guy like that? That's just my opinion. Casual Deck says, who are you and EJ most excited to see play this season? I'll go ahead and let's start with you. Who you're more excited to see this season in the Saints uniform?
Y'all might laugh at me for saying this, but I really want to see Shelton Rankins come back and be the force he was before he got hurt. I want to really see Davenport take that next step. I'm not giving y'all more than one person, but I really want to see Davenport back this talk up like he want to be better than Cam Jordan. Right. I mean, a lot of people like snicker when he said it, but I'm like, okay, that's good. That's cool. He have 16 and a half sacks and Cam Jordan have 15. I'll deal with that. That'll work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we could get these two, healthy, where they can play, all of the games this year, I think that's going to pay dividends for the Saints this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's not funny at all. I mean, a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation, they want to see those guys take that extra step. So I'm pretty sure nobody's laughing at the guys that you selected. I say Marcus Williams. Look, Marcus Williams going to a contract year. It's time to get paid, Marcus. I don't know if you watch the State of the Saints podcast or not, but I'm talking to you right now. You have all the talent in the world to be one of the best safeties in the league. Pro Football Focus actually puts you in that category. But and I know that there's a lot to be desired when it comes to you playing safety. He bulked up E. I think they said he got up to about 205 pounds. He looks bigger. They said that might help him with the tackling. Marcus Williams needs to step it up. Okay. Yeah, you're a ball hawk, and yeah, you cover a lot of damn field. But when it comes to the clutch moments of the game, okay, when it matters most, when the game is on the line and the chips are on the table, can you deliver? Because the New Orleans Saints organization has been waiting for you to deliver for 3 years. Okay, Look, the Minneapolis Miracle, it was unfortunate. I feel like the New Orleans Saints were put in that position. They were red hot going into the playoffs, but I can understand because the Vikings were red hot their entire season. And who's to say that they would have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles? Who knows? Okay, but for years, we have seen you in crucial parts of the game give up big plays. And as a Saints fan, a guy who likes you a lot, I'm kind of sick of it, bro. And I think a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation are sick of it too. And I'm tired of defending you. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of defending you and saying, oh, you're not that bad. You're not that bad. But it would make things so much easier if you actually do something that people can hold their hat on. Hang their hat on, Hang their hat on. Please. That's all I'm saying. That is somebody that I am waiting for to take that extra step. When a guy has all the tools, have all the skills, Marcus Williams reminds me of a 6'10" guy. Okay, let's just say he playing at Planet Fitness or LA Fitness, wherever they got a basketball court, 24-hour fitness. He's 6'10", but he letting a 5'10" dude dunk on him. Something is wrong with that. Okay, something is clearly wrong. Marcus Williams has all the talent in the world to be one of the best safeties in the league. And the only person that's stopping Marcus Williams is Marcus Williams. So that is a person I feel like I want to see. And I'm excited to see step up and take his rightful place as being one of the best safeties in the league.
You know, it's football season. They're giving Marcus Williams an ultimatum. Put up or shut up.
I mean, it's time, man. Like, he does a lot of great things. I'm not saying that he's slow. I'm not saying he's trash because he's not. I'm just saying, step it up, bro. Young Don says, thoughts on Todd Montgomery. Great talent. Thrives in a system where he has an offensive-minded coach. We've seen him thrive when he played for the Green Bay Packers with Mike McCartney. And I feel like Sean Payton is a better offensive play caller than Mike McCartney, even though Mike McCartney is not a slouch. But Todd Montgomery has been one of those guys that have been a bright spot at training camp. People have been talking about how he's been making people miss. He's been catching a ball out of backfield, and take a load of this, get a load of this. He actually has been playing in the slot, catching passes in the slot. So Todd Montgomery has been doing an outstanding job in a Saints uniform. But what do you think about Todd Montgomery, man?
Well, if you can remember Todd Montgomery in college, he was a wide receiver. He was moved when he got to Green Bay. He used him a wide receiver, but they had injuries at running back. Right. And from then on in, he started playing running back or whatever. But he's at like in his natural position as a wide receiver. I think Sean Payton likes toys. So he has a lot of players that, you know, he could toy with and do different things with. Taysom Hill. Now he has like a Todd Montgomery. This is somebody that could be a punt returner, assist on punts, kick returner, assist on kicks. He could be a running back. Right. He could be a wide receiver. Right. Yeah, if you need a halfback pass or something, he can even do that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that this dude can do. And I think Sean Payton likes players like this. Right. You know, he just moved Stevens to tight end. You still have Taysom Hill. You got Devonta Harris. Right. So he has like a lot of toys to play with. Mm-hmm. And you know he's been having a real busy summer, especially since they didn't have OTAs to create some plays for these guys. Right. And I think somebody like this dude, he stands to benefit, you know, on special teams on offense.
Right. Well, you know, I think Todd Montgomery definitely fits the Saints offense. I mean, he does a lot of good things, and the fact that he can't catch the ball, they can line him up in the slot, he can run the ball out of the backfield. It brings an interesting dynamic to the New Orleans Saints, and we know he's smart because he went to Stanford, for God's sake. Ray Long says, I'm really excited about Ruiz, but Bond excites me more with his potential as linebacker, but even more as a pass rusher. Zach Bond to me is one of those guys who reminds me of Haloi Kakaha, okay? Because Haloi Kakaha is a guy that they actually considered a linebacker, but he actually led the NCAA coming out of college from Washington in sacks.
Yep.
Okay, so Zach Bond is one of those guys that can put his hand on the ground, and I feel like it's really going to help in those NASCAR packages on third down when they're trying to get home to the quarterback. His issue is not with his hand on the ground; it's standing up, and the Saints are trying to help him make this transition. And everybody that has come on the State of the Saints podcast that have been covering the team has been ranting and raving about this guy because he played running back in high school. He ran track. He has so many skills. He's sideline to sidelines, a very smart player. We already know, man. Going to Wisconsin, it's two things that you're going to thrive, right? If you're a linebacker or offensive lineman, for the love of God, you're going to be in the NFL. So he's one of those guys that, that a lot of teams wish they had. And according to Pro Football Focus, the guys that a lot of people know who that nation wanted, Patrick Queen out of LSU and Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, he ranked higher than those guys. So the Saints found them in the third round, dude. So I feel like if he can actually master the concept of standing up, my goodness, we might have something special here. What do you think about Zach Bond, man? I know you watched him in college.
Yep. He just what you see. He's a sideline to sideline guy. Can rush the passer. He is good, pretty good in coverage. I think he is better rushing the passer, though. Like you mentioned the NASCAR package. If there's somebody, you said this guy was a former running back or whatever in high school. And ran track. You put those guys on the edge, and you don't run. Let them offensive linemen deal with them. Let them rush the pass or whatever. You take what he does best, and you put him in those positions to be successful, whatever. Whatever he does best. That's what you do for everybody on defense. You give them positions to where they thrive, pretty much. Yep. Rushing the pass, it seems like where he thrives. Yep. So, hypothetically, knock on wood, if Davenport gets hurt or somebody like this, you throw a Zach Ball in the game or whatever so he can rush the pass. Right. So get those sacks. We got to get off the field on third down. Definitely. Even though we had I want to say we was top 10 in sacks last year, which surprised the heck out of me. But you see, we top 10 in sacks. I think what we need to improve is turnovers. The year we won the Super Bowl, I think we was one of the best in the league in getting the ball and turning them over. So I think that's what we need to get back to.
Right. Well, like I said, I feel like if he put his hand on the ground, he can get to the quarterback. That's a plus. But you don't want to handicap the kid and just say, okay, you do this well. We're going to put you right here. You want guys to develop, and you want to maximize their potential. And I don't want him to be one of those guys that be one-dimensional, because that's when he becomes expendable, and you're not doing this guy any favors. You drafted him. You drafted him pretty high because you didn't have a second-round pick. So he was one of those guys that you selected in the third round. You wanted him, and you were shocked that he was there, okay? Adam Trotman was just kind of icing on the cake, so to speak. You wanted Zach Bond. You needed Zach Bond. So use this guy to the best of his ability, okay? Everything that he can possibly bring to this team, help him out. But he does have a lead in Demario Davis. I feel like it's going to steer him in the right direction, being a leader in the locker room.
We got good leadership on this team, too. Real good leadership on the team on every level.
Yep, no doubt. Miguel says, what are your thoughts? What do you think about Andrus Peat? I'll let you go ahead and start with that. What do you think about Andrus Peat?
I believe I was listening to one of your interviews, and I think one of the journalists said, I don't know who it was, he said that we got whooped up front against the Vikings. I wholeheartedly agree. And I think this is a big year for him, too. He did sign a big contract with the Saints. And I do think that I mean, our offensive line, we got to get better, especially when it comes to like playoffs and getting whooped against the Vikings. That's not a good look for us. We got a reputation as having one of the best offensive lines in the league, but if we hurt and just giving up sacks and giving up pressures and stuff like that Minnesota game, if you're getting whooped up front on your offensive line, I mean, it is not a good look. But as far as Andrews Pete and this injury, they say he's going to be out, 3 to 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, man. They said 2 weeks.
So this is a thumbs about 2 weeks. So he should be good for that Tampa Bay game, the first game of the year. But I do think he could be standing to improve a little bit more too. Last year, I don't know, kind of so for him. I do think he can improve. What he needs to improve upon, and maybe his footwork. I mean, how to not be injured. I mean, I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? When I was at the airport, I seen his dad is in a wheelchair and actually pushed his dad. And I told him to, tell your son to have a nice game and everything. I think the week later he got hurt.
Right. So
you kind of just need him to just be healthy.
Right.
I mean, whatever that is, how do you stay healthy as an NFL player? Injuries just come up and jump and just bite you. So
yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you, but honestly, I'm not going to be as candid as you are talking about Andrews Pete here. Andrews Pete is soft. Let's just call it a spade here. Shocked that he actually got these 5 years, $57 million. Don't know what the Saints was smoking or drinking that day when they decided to sign this guy back to a 5-year deal. Andrews Pete is the softest guy on the offensive line. Now, he does some great things. Okay, the moving from guard to left tackle when Teron Armstead gets hurt in the season, that's great. But the guy is soft. Okay, I mean, guys run over this guy like he a paperweight around this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a bantamweight. I like the fact that he lost 30 sometimes in the offseason. I feel like it's going to help him with his shiftiness, you know what I'm saying, moving. I feel like that was one of the reasons why the Saints lost to Atlanta and they lost to the Minnesota Vikings in a wild card game, because him alongside Larry Warford were too damn big. Okay, I like the fact that he lost 30 pounds. It helps him. But look, there's some things that cannot be taught, okay? Toughness cannot be taught. It's rather you born with it or you're not. Heart is something that cannot be taught. It's rather you're born with it or you're not. Andrews Pete is soft, okay? Cottonelle tissue soft. Posturepedic pillow soft, okay? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Pillow as seen on TV soft. That is what he is. It is nothing much you can do about it. But he's smart. And when you're a smart player, you can get away with some of the things that you lack, okay? For example, a guy that we really don't like that much in New Orleans anymore, Anthony Davis. Great talent, but people say that he's soft. He can get you about 30 and 15. But when it's playoff time, when it's time to step up and put your big draws on, are you performing at a high level, okay? And the answer is no. Thus, Andrews Pete. I like him. Glad the Saints drafted him. Not mad that they drafted him, because he played in a pro-style offense and he was a damn good left tackle in college. But he's soft. And it's nothing you can really do about it, E. You can lose 30 pounds. You can lose 100 pounds. I mean, you can go on the Simon system. You can sweat to the oldies with Richard Simmons, for God's sakes. But you can't teach toughness. I mean, you can't. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Jared Poor says, "Just let your soul glow." I can't hit that falsetto. Just let your soul glow.
Man, I got that T-shirt. I wore a T-shirt the other day.
Smooth, just let it start moving.
So glow.
I can't hit that falsetto though. That George says TJ might have to give up podcasting for a singing career. I don't know which. Maybe the Dashawn smoking with the Saints was smoking when they signed Andrew. Oh man, because I definitely don't have a career singing. John says, give it up for Cedric Chocolate. And
Mr. Randy Watson.
John says, that's a good problem to have. A great defense makes our explosive offense even better. It's an exciting year to be a Saints fan. Well, John, it was exciting back in 2017 when they won like 9 straight games. It was definitely exciting when they went 13-3 in 2018. They got screwed by the referees and NFL at large.
I'm still mad about that.
Yeah. And it was exciting in 2019 when they went 13-3, only to lose to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I have that same level of excitement. Look, I've been a Saints fan since I'm gonna say 1990 because I don't remember 86 because I was born that year. Okay, so I'm gonna say about 90 when I can remember certain moments in my life. I've been a Saints fan that long, so I'm gonna say 30 years. I've seen some ups, I've seen some downs. My big brother E can attest to that. It's always been an exciting time to be a Saints fan. Like honestly, even when they suck, I always look forward to the season. Always did. So it is an exciting time, but it's even better now that the team is really good. Andrea says, I'm here for y'all. We appreciate that, Andrea. Appreciate that. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. Tim, once again, thank you very much for the $5. He says, is it just me, or do the Saints have a better chance of winning a game when they come from behind than when they are supposed to sustain the lead? E, I'll let you go ahead and tackle that comment right there. Do you feel like the Saints have a better chance of winning a game playing from behind than actually sustaining the lead?
I think Sean Payton thinks they probably have a better chance coming from behind and keeping the lead. I think that's right up his alley, though, or whatever. Don't you think? Them boys are, just coming from behind because it just gives them a chance to throw the ball like he likes to. About 1 million times all over the place. And when they have a lead, they're not going to run the ball. They're still going to throw the ball for whatever reason. Right. The 49ers game, that was a good example.
Yeah.
I think they had a 14-point lead at one point in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like, 28-7, 28-14? Yeah.
So I think that's a game that they just let slip right through their fingers or whatever. Just missed opportunities. And who's to say if they don't win that game, they don't go on to win the Super Bowl?
Right. Well, look, I don't care if they got the lead. Keep that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have more points than the team that you're going up against at the end, I can care less. Okay, I don't care if you're down. I don't care if you're up. But I will say this, E. It is very frustrating. And I've said this, I say last week sometime on a podcast. I'm just sick and tired of watching this team struggle in games that they should blow their team out of the water that they're playing against. And it goes back to the slogan here on the State of the Saints podcast this season by running a damn football. Why are you throwing the football all over the place with a 28-7 lead, 28-14 lead?
Stopping the clock.
Control the time of possession is the most important thing you can do with a lead. Okay, keep that clock moving. In the words of Chris Berman, tick, 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 tick. That is what you want. So I don't understand why they don't do that. I don't feel like it's an advantage of them coming from behind and actually having a lead. I just think it's the time of possession. And the whole Sean Payton channeling his inner Les Miles for some apparent reason. When it comes to the clock management, he's channeling his inner Andy Reid for some apparent reason. I really just don't understand it. Run the damn football. You know what I'm saying? I always kind of get it. Peyton says, TJ, are there any rookie running backs showing out at camp? No, nobody's showing out. That's a rookie at camp right now. So it's pretty much the usual suspects, Peyton. So not many guys are showing up and showing out in that regard. Ray says, you realize the Chiefs would have signed Pete if the Saints didn't? It was a good signing, overpaid, but that's how the league is. Well,
you can always overpay for offensive linemen.
Oh yeah,
you might as well.
Yeah.
If you think dude's supposed to be like $3 or $30 million, they're gonna go to hit the free agent market. They're gonna get $50 or $60 million or whatever. Probably ain't gonna see nothing but $30 million out. Right. But that's always how it's gonna happen though. Somebody always gonna get overpaid. They ain't have you looking like, how the hell did he get all that money? So every season is like that though.
Right. I understand it. Like you said, I understand why you would look. It's not like I don't understand why they didn't draft that. I mean, why they drafted Andrews Pete. It makes sense. Dude was a left tackle in college. Went to Stanford. I mean, you can't be no slouch going to Stanford. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be half stepping through life going to Stanford. That is the Harvard of the West Coast. So I get
what they say.
Exactly. So I mean, I understand it. I mean, dude is soft. I call it for what it is. He's soft. Cotton candy soft. Quilted Northern soft. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't think of any other way to describe it. You just saw. Keith Washington says, thank you very much for the $2, Keith. He says, all y'all talking smack. I'll catch y'all at the Dome. Well, Keith, you'll catch us at the Dome if you actually make the team, okay? We want you to make the team, but you haven't made the team yet, okay? So hopefully we catch you at the Dome. Who that 504 boy says, nobody should be mad at AD. He did what he could, but the Pels refused to surround him with the right pieces. Another Davis equals Aaron Rodgers. Well, let me tell you this. Anthony Davis, he was a showman. He was exciting to watch, but let's not act like this guy didn't always get hurt. Let's not pretend like, you know what I'm saying, you had Raja and Rondo and you actually had a good, decent playoff run. You know what I'm saying? Let's not pretend like they didn't have Chris Paul at one time, and I think they went to the Western Conference semifinal. Like, let's not pretend like the Pelicans, or at the time they were Hornets, but let's not pretend like they have not had some good seasons. Anthony Davis did not want to be here, folks. He did not want to be here. He fell into this whole clutch sports psychological thing that they actually do to players. Oh, you're great. You're wonderful. You need to go to Boston. You need to go to Miami. You need to go to LA. And he is a beast. He will forever be a beast. He will forever be a walking, talking 25 and 15 around this thing. But at the end of the day, okay, it's about who wants it more. Who wants it more? And sometimes I just feel like Anthony Davis is a center. And I mean, he is a point guard in a center's body. Okay, that's the way I see him. You got to be able to get your big boy on. You can't be out there playing soft. You can't be out here channeling your inner Andrews Pete and be out here talking about you the best player in the league. I mean, you're a much bigger basketball fan than me. What do you think about Anthony Davis, man?
I mean, I think he is, like you said, he is a beast. Mm-hmm. I don't think New Orleans was as attractive as some of those other cities that you named.
Absolutely.
Probably why they couldn't get those players that he wanted. I'm surprised they still got Boogie Cousins down here, whatever, for the 5 minutes that he was playing.
It was a trade. It was a trade. You can easily make a trade.
So the reality is, I mean, it's hard to get star players now here in New Orleans that you're talking about football or something like that. Basketball, right. Not so much. I mean, we got some guys coming up now. We got Ingram. We got Zion Williamson. I mean, he could stand to lose a few pounds. He got a history of being, hurt too. But they basically pried Anthony Davis out of the Pelicans' hands, basically, and gave them Zion Williamson. When Anthony Davis signed with the Lakers, you knew the Pelicans were going to get that first pick. Yep. I think the league was actually they felt bad for getting Anthony Davis to the Lakers,
Whoa.
so they gave the Pelicans the first round pick, I think.
Oh, wait a minute now. Hold on. So you're saying that the NBA sabotaged the lottery for the Pelicans? Are you saying this on the State of the Saints podcast, EJ Jones, that the Pelicans and the NBA conspired for the first pick overall for them to acquire Zion? I need you to say this with your chest.
Yeah, man. I mean, I do agree with that.
Wow.
I do agree.
Wow.
I mean, just look at it. I mean, basically, they traded Anthony Davis for who? Lonzo Ball and some first round picks. And you just knew that first overall pick was Zion Williamson. You just knew that was what the trade was about or whatever.
Ooh.
You could, man, like, why would you trade Anthony Davis? What could you get for Anthony Davis that the Lakers had on their team? Who would you want on the Lakers team pre-LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Who would you want off that team for Anthony Davis, for goodness sake?
Right. Well, I will say this, though. The Pelicans understood that he wasn't coming back, okay? Mm-hmm. So they felt like they needed to get something for him. So they realized that, okay, man, we need to go ahead and trade this guy, get some value before he actually walks and we get absolutely nothing. So, I mean, the Pelicans got some really good players. Brandon Ingram is good.
Yeah, he's turned into an all-star, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Josh Hart is decent. You know what I'm saying? Like Lonzo Ball is developing into a solid point guard, and you got him alongside Zion Williamson, and then you got Haynes and all these other guys that are on the team, you know what I'm saying, that are contributing. JJ Redick, who signed a 1-year deal, who knows he might come back because he
still got Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday, who I feel like needs to exit stage left, but that's another story for another day. They have the talent to be a playoff contender. All they need is a coach that can actually lead these guys where they need to be. I mean, you fire Alvin Gentry, bravo to that. I mean, I've been lobbying for that for I don't know how long. People
defense, Mr. Defense optional. They played no defense, like none. A straight up Matador style defense, like no defense. So, I mean, in the 5 years he's been there, like no defense. Basically, his offense is get a rebound, push it down court, give it down to Davis or give it down to Boogie or something like that. When they had him, shoot the ball in about 4 or 5 seconds. That's their defense.
Yep.
Our offense. They don't have defense. They still don't.
16. They was up 16 points against the Jazz. Gave that up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sacramento, they was up in that game. Gave that up. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I digress. Chris Berman says, TJ, that was the best impression of me I ever heard. I doubt that. I'm not, I cannot. Back. There it is. All right. Peyton says, what you guys think? Do the offense look better when Pete Carmichael calls the plays or Coach Peyton? E, what do you think about that? Do they look better when Pete Carmichael call the plays or when Sean Payton call the plays?
I like to see Pete Carmichael call most of the plays, to be honest. And it's the reason why. I think Sean Payton get too invested when he calls these plays. I think he feel like he gets in a rhythm. So Drew Brees got to throw the damn ball 5 times in a row, which I don't like. And I think Carmichael should, start calling a lot of these plays or whatever. Yeah, you throwing some of the gadget plays and all of that kind of stuff, but I mean, I want to see Carmichael call most of the plays. At worst, Peyton call maybe the first half and Carmichael call the second. Something like flip-flop. I mean, whoever's doing, if they hot, let them keep calling plays for the rest of the game. But if it's not working, just switch us. Do something like that. Gives all the teams something else to think about. But Peyton, he gets too invested in calling plays, and he trying to live through Drew Brees and back when he was at Eastern Illinois.
Right. Yeah.
Shoot, too much.
He definitely looked like one of those parents who sucked, couldn't cut the snuff, couldn't cut the mustard, and they got a son, you know what I'm saying, that they want to live vicariously through. He do look like that at times. But look, Pete Carmichael, Sean Payton, tomato. I mean, they basically the same, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? They the same. It's like if Pete Carmichael called the plays, I just feel like it's Sean Payton calling the plays. Pete Carmichael, to me, there's a reason why he doesn't get called for a head coaching job. Because I think people actually just see that it's Sean Payton. You know, it's kind of like the Belichick, effect. You know, all these coaches get these opportunities to coach other teams because of Bill Belichick. I mean, look at Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia does not deserve to be nobody head coach. I mean, honestly, he was just a guy with his hat turned to the back and a pencil behind his ear. And all of a sudden, like, he coaching the Detroit Lions and they suck. Okay? It's kind of like that. I feel like he is one of those guys that is in an organization and he's living off of what Sean Payton's doing. He has the title of offensive coordinator, but let's be serious, folks. It is Sean Payton who is calling the plays. It is Sean Payton who is the mastermind. Pete Carmichael is the guy who gets him juicy fruit when he runs low. Okay, like Pete, man, go up to the road 101 and go to the concession stand and bring me some juicy fruit back. That is what that was Pete Carmichael. That is who he is. No disrespect, Pete Carmichael. I'm pretty sure he adds a little something to it. Instead of Sean Payton saying run it to the right, Pete might say run to the left, and they might put it into the offense. But let's not act like this guy could change the world if Sean Payton just gave him the duties of an offensive coordinator. Come on, man. Let's knock it off. Knock it off. Okay. Like, we'd be like, okay, Pete, run it to the right. Okay, you said run it to the right. We'll run it to the right this play. And he might get about 3 yards, and he might clap and be like, good job, Pete. But at the end of the day, nobody is calling Pete Carmichael and saying, look, we want you to coach the Bills. Oh, we want you to coach the Vikings. Oh, we want you to coach the Niners or the Dolphins. Nobody ain't checking for no Pete Carmichael. I'm sorry, Pete. I like you, but at the same time, let's just call it for what it is, man. You basically hiding the shadows of Sean Payton. Sorry, but it's facts. Anthony Davis says, I suck compared to Giannis, though. I don't know about that, man. I mean, I think Anthony Davis is a little bit better than Giannis. Giannis is definitely the best player in the Eastern Conference, but it'll be interesting.
Anthony Davis, he a better shooter.
Yeah.
If Giannis, if he ever learn how to shoot, that dude gonna be unstoppable. If Giannis can shoot like Anthony Davis, he'll probably average like 35, 40 points a game. That's how good Giannis is right now.
Well, I will say this. They do have something in common. They both soft. Who that? 504 boy says, everything you said is true, but I ain't mad for him for leaving. That's all I'm saying. I'm not mad at him for leaving. I get it. If you're talking about it from a marketing standpoint, I can't believe we talking about AD on the State of Saints podcast. That's what we come to. Hey, that's what the people want. Look, I get it. If you're a businessman, I mean, man, you're an entrepreneur, man. You sell your artwork, right? So, well, this is a great place, right? You're in a great place to sell artwork because, I mean, it's an artistic city. I mean, if you was to go somewhere like, I don't know, Cheyenne, Wyoming, you might have a harder time selling artwork, right? So I get it. Him trying to build his brand, trying to move from a smaller market like New Orleans, who, let's just be serious about this. They actually love the Saints more than the Pelicans, even though they have Zion Williamson. Okay? Zion Williamson is great. He is the future face of the NBA. That's what they're pushing towards. I'm more of a Ja Morant type guy pushing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he is a little bit above Zion as of right now, but a lot of people are considering Zion Williamson the face of the NBA. I get it, but everybody loves the Saints. You know what I'm saying? The Saints are the team in New Orleans. I don't care if Zion go out there and score 81, 82, beat Wilt Chamberlain record of 100. People are still going to be talking about what the Saints did on Sunday. Okay, so I get it. But at the same time, that don't mean that he ain't soft. You know, I got to go back to it. Philip says, we have a great player at each position on the team. It's no excuse this year. The offense is more versatile now than the last 3 years, and our defense can be dominant if we can stay healthy. Philip, that's a good point. No excuses. Teron Armstead said it. He said Super Bowl or bust.
Yep.
I agree. And it's been Super Bowl or bust for the last 3 years. We gonna keep on. We gonna answer about 2 more questions here. Read 2 more comments, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Who that also says if Jack Rabbit and Lattimore stay healthy, it's going to be hard to beat the Saints this year. I agree with that. It's been a long time since they had a number 1 and number 2 corner. Well, I don't think there's ever been
never, ever. Not since I've been watching the Saints. I mean, maybe you can go back to the 60s and the 70s, but I doubt it. They never had really one good corner. They're talking about 2.
Shoot. Hot garbage they didn't have in that secondary. Straight up. Pete Carmichael talking mad greasy right here. He says, keep talking. I know where you live, fool. Well, if you know where I live, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to take those type of directions and apply them to your offense, and maybe you'll get a phone call from an organization, you know what I'm saying? Because they're like, dang, Pete knows what he's doing. Okay, so and shouts out to Pete Carmichael though. Like I said, man, this is all fun and jokes. I love Pete Carmichael, man. I think he does an outstanding job as an offensive coordinator, and I will say that they are more run oriented when he does call the plays. I will say that we seen that in the absence of Sean Payton, and there have been opportunities for Pete Carmichael to call plays, and he's been successful, man.
Cut Pete,
right? Cut Pete. I don't hear much about Callaway from Tennessee in camp. Is he still on the team? I thought he would be a backup speed receiver. Just my opinion. DA, not much to really, report about Callaway. He's probably gonna do most of his damage as a backup special teamer, And I feel like he's gonna make the practice squad. I think the Saints like him a lot. But like we said earlier in the show, no OTAs, no mini camp. It's going to be hard for these guys to really just stand out like that, man. You got to be like a generational talent to stand out in this climate. You definitely do. Like, you got to be like, I don't know, Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. Right. I mean, somebody like that in order for you to stand out in a climate where you didn't have no off-season activities. Like, honestly, man, you got to think about this, man. This is like transitioning, from high school to college here, folks. Like it's a transition. It took some time, man. Like from me coming from high school out there, Culver High School, transition to Dillard University my freshman year, and going to Jackson State. It took some time, man, for me to make that adjustment. You're like, wait a minute. I ain't gotta, nobody gonna tell me to do homework. Wait a minute. I got to look at this syllabus to tell me when I need to complete this assignment. Like, it's tough. So, I mean, we got to be patient with these guys, man. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear some things down the line. And last, we got Peyton coming in and said, trade Pete at the trade deadline and get something for him. E, do you think that the Saints could get something for Andrews Pete?
I mean, yeah, you could. But is that really what you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, you did just get this dude $60-something million, which means he's your starting guard in the NFL. So what would you be trading him for?
Right.
Like, what would you get in return for Andrews Pete?
Right.
That's something you do after the season.
Good
you don't
point.
do that in the season.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, we'll get Billy Blanks or Chuck Norris or something like that to kind of toughen them up just for the season. And if you don't think he's tough enough after that, you might go get Michael Jai White or somebody like that. But if that don't work, I mean, you can get rid of him after the season. But we try to work with him or whatever, during the season because we need him. Well, but after the season, I mean, if he getting hurt too much or too soft, we get that boy out of there.
Well, I don't know who in their right mind going to trade for Andrews PE. I don't know. Like maybe somebody on a cocaine binge or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that probably had too much to drink, probably started drunk texting the Saints and be like, man, let me get Andrews Pete. I don't know what you can get for Andrews Peyton. You know, maybe this Zaxby cup that I'm drinking out of, maybe this tack that I'm holding in my hand, maybe a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle from McDonald's, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, you probably can get a 2-for-1 coupon for him. But you damn sure ain't about to get nothing of any type of value for Andrews Pete the way he's been playing over the last couple of seasons. And yes, I understand that he went to the Pro Bowl last season, but the Saints have a reputation for having a good offensive line. So you know what that says to all the media and people out there? Well, let's go ahead and look at the Saints. Let's see who on the offensive line, and let's add that person to the Pro Bowl. It's not really impressive, man. The Pro Bowl used to mean something back in the day. It used to be like, it used to validate you. It used to be like, man, I'm a Pro Bowler. It used to make you feel good to be a Pro Bowler. Now it's like, you know, like who hurt? Who got to get surgery? Okay, let's add that guy. It really doesn't have any value anymore, E. So I don't know what you're going to get for the guy. I really do not know. But, I mean, Andrews Pete, if he has a good solid season this year and the Saints say, well, you know what? I don't know about Andrews, but he did have a good season. Maybe we can get something out of him. Maybe. But right now, I mean, bruh, you couldn't get I don't even know, man. You couldn't get a $2 worth of gas for that boy right now. You know, like, so I mean, that's just my opinion on that. So I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. And as my big brother EJ's dog is barking in the background, just like he's barking loudly, go ahead and shout us out, you know what I'm saying, and hit us up on YouTube, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Like and share this video. Go to facebook.com and follow us at State of the Saints podcast. The audio version is available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com, wherever you get your streaming, podcast from. I'm pretty sure we're there. Even before we go, man, I know some things you have to plug, man. Your wife's boutique, your art website, man. So let us know where we can find all those great things.
Well, my wife's shop is Hiblisscus Herb Company. My brother, he'll have that on his YouTube page, the website and the address and everything that you can find it. But that's right here in New Orleans. She sells herbs. She does the V-steams for the ladies. Any kind of herbal stuff that you're dealing with, any kind of sickness, the COVID stuff. She has the syrup or whatever to get you straight from that. Me personally, you can go to E. Jones, my Facebook. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on Twitter. You can go to any one of those, check out some artwork. Or if you just want to like and share some of my stuff, you can do that also. If you want to friend me, you can do that also. So, but my website is EmmanuelJonesArt.com.
EmmanuelJonesArt.com, man. You check out his wife's website that's going to be on the description below. And also his webpage for his artwork is going to be in the description below immediately following these videos. So y'all check them out, man. I mean, great things happening with the State of the Saints podcast, man. Coming up on Friday, I got a special guest, Joe Nowak, excuse me. He's part of the Advocate. He's going to be a guest on the State of the Saints podcast. And also Amy Just of the Advocate, man. She's going to be a special guest on Tuesday, followed by Delvin Bro, man. We know a lot of things happening with Delvin Bro. I know some of you probably read the article about him, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking to him, talking about his life, you know what I'm saying, with the New Orleans Saints and also life after football. So keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast. Big things coming. Check out the interview that was just conducted by with me and Jeff Duncan that happened earlier today. Check it out, man. Let me know what you think. Like and share these videos, man. And please support the State of the Saints podcast in podcast form. You know what I'm saying? Like the audio version. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to push that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they're at work, they can't look at the videos that we do, but you damn sure can hear it. You know what I'm saying? While you're sitting at the desk or you're working out. So we're looking forward to trying to push the podcast in audio form. So please help us support that. That description will be in the description box as well. Till next time, from yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and my big brother, EJ Jones, all we got to say is, who that?